Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. Today I thought it would be fun to make a couple small little cakes that have these cute little wafer paper pictures. It's a fun little Halloween treat that we can do with our whole family, and I hope you'll come and join me. Alright, so we're going to do a double batch of these cakes, and I brought on my lovely assistant, my daughter, to help me. And so what we're going to do is we've measured out already. This is 2 cups of flour, and we have 1 cup of sugar. Go ahead and combine those for me, please. And we're gonna mix all the dry together and then all the wet together. So we're gonna use this bowl for the wet. And then we have 1 cup of cocoa powder, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and 2 teaspoons of salt. All right, so you mix that up while I work on the wet. All right, so on our wet ingredient, we have 1 cup of coffee that's been sitting here for a little bit. It's still warm, but that's okay. And then I also have 1 cup of milk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. All right, that should be good. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna crack the eggs into a separate bowl and we're gonna mix them up a little bit. That way it's just a little easier to incorporate into our wet liquid. So grab that and we're gonna mix these up. So that's 1 egg. Okay, mix up the egg. So we're just gonna give this a really good mix. That way the eggs get really incorporated. But because we mix them ahead of time, it really isn't too difficult. And then all we have to do is mix the wet into the dry. Such a simple recipe. Go ahead and get that done for me. So ahead of time, we already sprayed some parchment lined baking sheets. This is on a 9 by 13 inch pan. And I'm gonna do 2 of these because I made a double batch. And then we're just gonna do basically like a sheet cake. And I'm gonna cut these so I can put, so that each picture can be on there individually. So what I'm gonna do is, because my scale really isn't big enough to put these on to weigh them out, I'm just gonna scoop them with a 1 cup measuring cup and just see where we go from there. I'm gonna guess it'll be roughly around 2 scoops. I'm gonna put these in the oven at 350 on the middle rack, and I'm not quite sure how long I'm gonna cook them for because I've only ever made this in either a large cake form or cupcakes, and they cook for about 18 to 20 minutes when they're cupcakes. But since these are real thin, I'm gonna check on them at 10 minutes and just kind of see where we need to go from there. But I will let you know at the end how long that they went in for. Our cakes came out of the oven. I cooked them for about 15 minutes and then let them come to room temperature for about a ½ an hour. Wrapped them up into plastic wrap, and then I put them in the freezer. And when they're frozen, they're just a little bit easier to cut. That way we can get nicer lines without them breaking, hopefully. So we're gonna work on our buttercream while those are in the freezer. So what I like to do is 2 sticks of unsalted butter and 2 sticks of salted butter. If you don't have salted butter, you just add in about a ½ teaspoon of salt. I just like that there's not like really a grainy consistency when you use the salted butter. So let's go ahead, assistant, and put those in here for me, please. And I like to use the whisk attachment to start off with. It just really helps whip everything together and give it a nice light fluffy consistency. And then I will switch over to the paddle, and that helps just get some of the air bubbles knocked out so we don't have a big blowout when we're doing our piping. So this is about where we want to be in terms of the consistency of the butter. It's really light and fluffy now, light in color. So we're just going to go ahead and add in our powdered sugar, and I add about 5 to 6 cups of powdered sugar, but I just kind of eyeball it now and get the consistency that I like. And make sure that you're only adding a little at a time. This already is probably gonna poof out everywhere, but if you add in the whole 5 cups at once, it's just gonna fly everywhere. Trust me, just do it like a ½ cup to a cup at a time. Okay, so my daughter and I decided that we would like to do orange flavoring in our buttercream that will pair nicely with the chocolate. So I'm gonna do about a tablespoon, and we'll go from there and see if we need to add more or not. I'm gonna give it a taste test, and when I do this, I'm looking not only for flavor, but also the consistency. If it feels a little loose or too stiff, we'll go from there. So just grab a little bit. That's good. What do you think?
It's really good. I
think we need a little bit more of the powdered sugar because it feels just really kind of soft, and I want it a little bit stiffer for piping purposes. Otherwise, the flavor is spot on. All right, so I'm gonna switch out to my paddle now, and that's just gonna help me knock some of the air bubbles out. And I'm gonna add in 1 tablespoon of heavy cream, and that just also helps smooth it out a little bit. And you wanna do this on your lowest setting, because the point is to knock the air out, not swoop some more in. So what I'm going to do for the top is I want to make it really nice and flat. That way we have a flat surface for our picture to sit on. I'm going to try this method I saw where you kind of just put some frosting. I'm only doing one side of each cake. Okay. I'm going to use my offset spatula to smooth it out. Doesn't have to be like super gorgeous or anything. Just try to get it to the edges without breaking the cake, because mine is crumbly on the edges. Go. And then what I'm going to do is take a piece of parchment paper and put it on. Kind of smooth it with my hands. Try to get some air bubbles out. I'm going to put it like that, so it's nice and flat, and kind of squish it down, help with the frosting. And we are going to put this in the freezer so it gets nice and firm. All right, so I decided that while the tops were in the freezer, getting nice and flat and getting firm, I'm just gonna pipe on dots. You can do this however you want. You can smear your cream on, you can cover it completely, you can make a big old tower, whatever you want to do. But I'm just gonna do cute little dots. Literally just squeeze and move, squeeze and move. Do the whole thing like that. Right, so we got the bottoms done, and I'm gonna just do a coupler for my next bit. I'm gonna fit the coupler on. We put the plastic piece here, and I have 2 tips here. They're not labeled because I just got them in like a bulk thing, but one's an open star tip and one is just a round tip, and they're quite small, but you just put them on the outside with the bit that closes it to keep it on. And then when you want to change out tips, it's really easy. You don't have to pull them out of the bag, and then you just put the coupler on this one. You got your new tip. The moment of truth, let's see if this comes off. Ta-da! That worked out nice. Now we're just gonna place it on our other end. Let me see if I can figure out which one goes to which one. That one looks good. So what I'm gonna do now is, my assistant here picked out the 4 of these images that she likes the most. These cute little images. And we're gonna put them right on the cake. And then you can help push it down also with that. They're a little lopsided, but that's okay. This is just for us to eat. We don't mind if it's lopsided, do we? No. Then I'm just gonna draw a border around the edge. There you go. It's not sitting very flat, so it was making it a little bit difficult. I can kind of clean up the edges here, just do a little border. Something like that. You guys can get creative and do your own thing. But I think that turned out super cute. We're all finished with our 4 little cakes here, and these are just a fun little festive thing to do. As you can see, it's fun to do with family. And so yeah, we just had a really great time doing these, and I hope you enjoy it too. If you'd like to see more baked goods and pastries, please like and subscribe below. Have a great day, everybody, and happy Halloween.